mean, as a lover of art, of course, I think it's very important. And I think lots of cities are often defined or described by their artwork. And, you know, a lot of places are famous for whatever piece of art they have there. And this is where you go and see the Eiffel Tower, or this is where you go and see the Statue of Liberty. And it's, you know, it's an important part of what makes up that area. And part of what I love about Greenville is that they're really making a push in that direction, and they're really put a lot of energy into the arts here and downtown. You know, they just really are promoting both artists and artwork, and I really like how it's turning out.
We're at Augustus Circle Elementary School this morning because this is where Charles and my son Jay started first grade together, and they went to school together all through Augustus Circle, Hughes Academy, and Greenville High School. And it was here that I got to witness Charles's true and very rare talent. He was talented from first grade on, and we're very proud of his many accomplishments. We're grateful that Charles decided to stay in Greenville. We're grateful for all our artists and what they bring to our community, but we're particularly proud of those who are our homegrown artists.
Nachman Norwood Parrott, a local wealth management firm located in the West End, expressed an interest in partnering with the city's Arts and Public Places Commission and offered its property as a potential site for an art installation. Subsequently, the Arts and Public Places Commission selected a proposal from Charles Pate Jr. from among a variety of submissions by artists from across the Southeast. In August of 2010, they commissioned a sculpture that Charles Pate Jr. calls Regenesis.
I'm a new artist and new to the real world, and I wanted to jump at the opportunity and thought this would be really exciting and a great opportunity for me to potentially get something downtown Greenville. My idea is I really wanted to do something that represents the city of Greenville and specifically this area. Our gallery is right off of Pendleton Street, and they're now calling this area the Pendleton Art District, and it's really grown in that direction. And so I wanted to do something that represented this area, the Pendleton Art District. The clay is relatively heavy, and when you have people's arms out like this or whatever, the clay can't support that. So the first thing you have to do is build an armature, build the bones of the sculpture, and so I had a drawing set up to do some pipes and really the way bones would really look and come out and bend at the elbow and everything. But then I redid those ideas and decided to actually go with a wooden armature, and so I built a wooden structure that would be just the core of it, would be very sturdy, very strong to hold up the clay. Then I go on top of that with newspaper because it'll take up a lot of space. It doesn't weigh very much, so you don't have to spend as much money on the clay, but you also don't, it won't be 10,000 pounds when it's done. It'll be just a thin layer of clay on the outside of some light newspaper. Figure here is coming along nicely. Last time you were here, I don't think I had either of these arms in place, but I've built the armature and have it steadied by the pipes, put it on some clay there. As you can see, this part doesn't have much form yet, but I'm slowly putting in the muscles. I didn't have the head either last time, but I put that in, started working on the face a little bit there, and haven't gotten too far. Not too caught up yet in exactly what he's going to really look like, but been really trying to get the muscles in the stomach and chest and back, get those looking believable. This will be the tree trunk here. Last time I was putting in some of the newspaper, and I'm still using the newspaper some, but I'm also putting in this pink insulation foam, and then I'm covering it with the clay on the outside. This is very taxing, just monotonous process of just chopping up the clay and mushing it on there. But once I've got a good 2 or 3 inches thick clay around the outside, then I can go back into it and carve it out and actually, give it some texture of the tree trunk.
We're here with the Art and Public Places Commission at Charles Pate Studio. We've started a tour of potential future sites for artwork, and we're planning to develop a strategic plan, an art plan for the city of Greenville. He's in the middle of making the full-size clay structure that they'll make the bronze from. So we just stopped in today to check on the progress to see how Charles was proceeding with the piece.
The arts are very important to Greenville in many ways. Our Arts and Public Places Commission is a vital asset that we have. We're so grateful for those volunteers that participate on that commission. They bring a depth and breadth of appreciation of not just art, but how it fits into the community that makes Greenville an even better place to live.
All right, so it's late October, and it's coming along nicely, I think. I am very close to finished with the torso, with the man portion of the sculpture. His hand up above his head is not complete yet, but I'm getting close to done with the face and with the abdomen and with his left arm. The tree trunk is still very incomplete. That takes the longest, just to continue to push pieces of clay in to get it the right size that I want. But as soon as that is done, as soon as I like the shape of the whole trunk, then I can come back and do the texture and really make it look like bark. So that's what I'll be doing for the last few weeks, and then I'll take it down to Atlanta and let the guys at the foundry take it from there. They'll do all the casting and then turn this into a final piece of bronze.
When work was completed on the tree portion of the sculpture, it was ready to be cast and bronzed. Charles loaded the work in the back of his truck, tied it down as securely as possible, and headed for the foundry in Atlanta. These are sections of the sculpture with hollow casts ready to be filled with molten bronze. The work is not cast as one large piece. The clay is cut into sections and cast separately. The bronze pieces are then welded together seamlessly. In the spring of 2011, city officials, business leaders, and art enthusiasts gathered for the dedication ceremony for Regenesis.
Nachman Norwood Parrott is seriously very thrilled to be a part of this today. We're dedicated to the art community. We appreciate what the city is doing through wonderful initiatives like the Arts and Public Places Commission. About 3 years ago, after 15 years of having our home on the other end of Main Street, Nachman Norwood Parrott bought this building, which is an old building, almost 50 years old, and renovated it. And not totally unlike the story behind Regenesis, we took something old and made it new again. We saw what the city was doing in this part of town, and we wanted to be a part of it.
This area, the Pendleton Art District, used to be the Mill Village. It was very blue collar, and I think that's a great part of Greenville's history. and now is headed toward a very artistic, colorful type of scene. And so I wanted something that represented both those two areas, and the sculpture is a tree at the bottom, and it's turning into a man at the top, but the tree is actually carving himself into a man. He's changing his own face into a man, and so that represents the artistic nature of this area because he is a sculptor, but it also represents the changing face of Greenville, and but his roots are still very strong at the bottom, and he has a strong base, and he knows where he came from, but is turning into something very beautiful. So.
What makes me particularly proud of this situation is Charles's grasp of the community, how he was able to capture the west end of Greenville, and through his Regenesis statue, capture not just the spirit of the people that are making investments in that area of our community, but also the infrastructure that is taken to build up the area also. And I love the part about the statue where he has the roots growing out to show that even though there is a rebirth in the area, there are new businesses, there are new buildings, that the roots are still in Greenville, in the old Greenville, and the history that is so rich in that area.